Coach, you're coming off a 61 win at Air Force this past Saturday. There was a couple times in the game where Air Force, kind of made a push, right? You were up a little bit, and then they made it pretty close to a one-possession game, I think, in the first and second half. Just how pleased were you with the performance and just, the overall reaction, just staying calm and poised and, ultimately pulling away and getting that victory?
Yeah, I think you said the word. Our group's got a lot of poise. Never panicked. I think they got it down to 4 points there in the second half after we were up probably about 16. They went on a 10-0 run. I know that. So I guess it would have been 14. And our guys just stayed together. And I thought we tightened up our execution there late in the game and then kind of opened up the lead again. But we got to show growth. And it's like I told our guys, I still want to see us put together 40 minutes of execution, just playing hard, playing together, execute our defensive system, our offensive system, and I think we'll really, really, really like those results when we get to that point.
Yeah. In just 22 minutes of action, Antoine Woolfolk recorded nearly a double-double, career high, 13 rebounds. He added 9 points. He also he matched his career best with 3 blocks as well. How does he just change the game and the offense? Really both sides of the ball. But when he has that type of energy and effort, just, how does that change Miami's, the team as a whole?
Yeah, Antoine is he is a tremendous player on both sides of the ball. Defensively, if you look at his analytical data, last year I think he was the most valuable player in the MAC defensively. And just his ability to hedge ball screen, switch, he can guard in the post, he can rim protect. He's number one he's not number one. He's top 25 in the country in defensive rebounding percentage right now. And I think he's like top 75 in offensive rebounding percentage. How he impacts, he's our enforcer on the glass. And then he's a guy we can play through. He's showing the ability that he can make threes, which he made one at Air Force. He's made a couple this year already. And he can score inside, he can facilitate, he can pass. Man, he does a lot for us. I mean, he is a tremendous player. I'm happy for him, and we need him to keep on coming on and showcasing just what he can do.
Evan Absaro also, he matched his career high with 7 assists and looked really comfortable out there, as he, almost always does. How pleased have you been, just with his command of the offense, especially playing that point guard position?
Yeah, third year in our program, for Evan. I think that really helps. Just we're on the same page, me and him, as far as he gets us in offense. He can set the table. He makes everyone around him better. He makes the game easy for him. Gets Brant, wide open shots. He gets Antoine a dunk. He puts those guys in great positions. And then on the other end, I think he's really grown defensively. And I told him I thought that was his best defensive performance he's had since being in a Miami uniform, just from a standpoint of doing our system. And he could be a really good two-way player for us.
You mentioned Brant. Second game that he's led us in scoring, I believe. Our first game and now that last game, he had 18 points. How have you just seen him grow? I mean, there's been instances this year where, I've seen him put it on the ball, on the floor a little bit more than he would have. He makes some passes that I didn't see him make a year ago. Can you just touch on his growth?
Yeah, Brant, he's a young man. He comes from a wonderful family, and it's probably been ingrained with him since he's been young. He's just so process-oriented. He just works and works and works, and he's consistent. He's disciplined. So I'm not shocked about his growth that he's made as a player. Obviously he's a tremendous shooter, and that was pretty well documented last year, right? He's one of the best shooters in the country. But what he's added off the bounce and his ability to see things, making decisions, finishing at the rim, going left or going right, getting fouled, he's just continued to diversify his game. And I'm proud of him, just to see the growth that he's made in this short time here at Miami, and I'm excited to see what that growth's going to coin. Hopefully, we got to keep on that upward trajectory that he's on.
You now prepare to take on Mercyhurst at home this Thursday at 7 p.m. What are you expecting from the Lakers?
Well, I think, number one, they're really, really well coached. They play very, very, very hard. They play very slow. They have an identity. They have 2 really good guards that they're going to play through off screens and then isolation and ball screens. And then defensively, they are everywhere. They're very comfortable in rotation. They're very comfortable switching. scrambling. They can test everything. They are a good team. They won at Loyola Chicago already this season. They played Northwestern. The score's a little misleading how the game went. It was much closer than the score. So I would say they got a really nice team. I got a ton of respect for their team and for their coach. It's going to be an all-out war tomorrow night.